Welcome to AP Environmental Science. In this video, we are going to briefly discuss endocrine disruptors. Now, this corresponds with a couple modules in your textbook that dabble in this topic. Now, remember, your endocrine system is responsible for producing hormones that regulate many of your body processes. Some of the hormones that you may have heard of include estrogen, testosterone, insulin, serotonin, and norepinephrine. Now, these are produced by a series of glands throughout your body and are important to maintain normal body function. Now, an endocrine disruptor interferes with your endocrine system, and it can do so in one of two ways. Either that endocrine disruptor is mimicking your natural hormone, so your body thinks that you have a whole lot more of it, and that system's going to be amplified or overstimulated. Or that endocrine disruptor is going to attach to a receptor that the hormone normally binds to, and it's going to prevent the real hormone from binding. So either endocrine disruptors are amplifying or overstimulating your endocrine system, or they can prevent your endocrine system from functioning correctly. These have some serious impacts on organisms and humans. This disrupts cell signaling, and that can lead to reproductive abnormalities because a lot of these hormones are in your reproductive system, which can lead to birth and developmental defects, and this can also lead to behavioral changes. Now, because these are things that are going to bioaccumulate, we are going to see larger impacts on the top level consumers in that food chain. So let's look at an example here. We have this bioaccumulation and biomagnification in fish, looking at smallmouth bass. Smallmouth bass in areas that have a lot of these endocrine disruptor pollution in that water are going to start to see some physical changes as a result. So there have been male smallmouth bass that under dissection we are finding they contain eggs instead of sperm in their reproductive gonads. Now, in humans, people who are exposed to high levels of these endocrine disruptors, they tend to have low sperm counts or infertility issues in these areas with high pesticide use. And that is concerning. So not only does it impact the environment and the natural organisms there, but it also impacts humans. So we should probably do something to regulate and control these. Now, there's a few different sources of these endocrine disruptors. You can have synthetic or man-made sources, and they do occur naturally, but in much, much smaller quantities. Some of the synthetic sources include industrial solvents and lubricants, such as PCBs and PBBs and dioxins. We also find them in plastics and plasticizers, such as biphenyl A or BPA, oftentimes on water bottles, especially plastic ones. It will say BPA free on the bottom to indicate that that particular endocrine disruptor is not found in the plastic. We also find it in things such as phthalates. We find them in pesticides and fungicides, and that's where a lot of this research has focused because that's a way that they tend to get intentionally sprayed out into the environment. And we find them in pharmaceuticals, which makes sense. There's a lot of conditions that are treated with hormone replacement therapies or hormone regulators to treat certain types of diseases and disorders. Natural sources would be from phytoestrogens, which is found in soy products. So that's why they recommend that you do not consume a lot of soy, because that is intentionally consuming a lot of these endocrine disruptors. Now, in summary, you should be able to describe what an endocrine disruptor is and some of the effects that it has on ecosystems. It leads to birth defects, it leads to developmental disorders, and it can lead to gender imbalances in fish and other species. Please leave me your questions here, and I hope that as you watch this video, you were able to learn something.